How would women feel if men killed their children? Think about that for a second. Can you imagine the uproar? Can you imagine how quickly that would get rectified? There would be riots in the street. Here's what I hear. I hear a lot of women saying, I don't blame women. I blame society. Now I'll tell you straight up, right away. That is better than women saying I blame men, because that is what I hear a lot. I hear that one a lot. Oh, it's men's fault that women are the way they are. Believe me, I hear that a lot. When we're talking about toxic female behavior, when I'm online, when I'm on social media, talking about this stuff with people, what I hear a lot from women is women blaming men for women being toxic. It's men's fault women are toxic, right? Of course, they can't take accountability. Women cannot take accountability. They have to blame men. And if they don't blame men, then they blame society. And think about what that implies. Society, a society built by men. It's not that the women themselves are to blame, it's society, right? What does that imply? That implies men are still to blame, because who built society? Men, mostly. Yes, women make up society. They're a social part of society. They can work now. There are wives, there are daughters, there are sisters, there are aunts, there are grandmothers, etc., our mothers. But we built society. So when a woman says, I blame society, what's she doing? She's blaming men still. She's blaming men. And I hear that, man. I hear that. I just heard a woman tonight say, I'm anti-feminist, but I don't blame women. I blame society. What? What? You're anti-feminist, but you don't blame women. You don't blame the feminists. You blame society for feminism. I mean, that's just bonkers. So, I asked this question. I said, how would you feel if a man killed your baby? How would you feel? And he did it legally. The state said it was okay, and the state said, you have no say one way or the other whether you can save that baby's life or not, because that's the situation men are in. And then people wonder why are men so upset at women? Why are you MGTOWs? Why are you red pill guys? Why are you always whining? Ooh, like, you're killing our babies. You're killing our 500,000 a year on average. You're killing our babies. You're taking us to court. You're taking half our shit that we worked for. Men are a utility in society. We're the workhorse. We're a pack horse to fulfill her desires and her dreams. And everything she wants, we have to lay down at her feet, or else she's not going to give us the almighty pussy. They wonder why we're committing suicide. 78% of suicide rates are men. They wonder why we're committing suicide at alarming rates. 3 out of 4 suicides is a man. And I saw a meme the other day that said, 1 out of 4 suicides is women. Can you imagine the audacity of making a meme like that? oh, let's pay attention to the 1 out of 4. It should be 4 out of 4 people who commit suicide should be men. There should be no women who commit suicide. It's an audacity that men commit suicide or women commit suicide. That's a shameful thing. No women should commit suicide. They don't give a fuck about men. They don't care about us. These lesbian feminists in the media. These sicko women, and everybody, all these women follow them, and the influence is wide scoping, is massive. And then you have these women who have the audacity to say, I'm not a feminist, I blame society. I'm against feminism, but I blame society. Oh my God, put the blame where it's supposed to go. And I had a woman earlier today try to tell me that, let's see, what did she say? She said, why don't the men who commit suicide, why don't they just call a hotline? It's because of toxic masculinity, because men are too embarrassed to admit they have a problem. Why don't they just man up and call the suicide hotline? And I'm just like sitting there with my jaw open, like, lady, do you realize what you're doing? You're bullying men who commit suicide. Do you realize you just did that? Do you realize that what you just said was part of the problem of why men commit suicide in the first place? You said, why don't the men who commit suicide just call a suicide hotline? That'll solve the problem. Oh yeah, though I could talk to somebody about all my millions of problems that I have since I was 10 and realized I was a male and realized that I wasn't the preferred gender. I wasn't special. I was just utility. Women were gonna use me and abuse me for the next 20 years, lie to me, cheat on me, shit test me, play games with me, make me buy them dinner, all kinds of shit, take my children away from me, gaslight me, take me to court, make me pay alimony, cheat on me with my best friend, cheat on me behind my back, and then have the audacity to claim that they're the oppressed gender. And then you wonder why men are committing suicide. Why don't men just call? So yeah, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to tell the suicide hotline person all that. I'm going to say, yeah, well, and then what's the suicide person? The suicide hotline person. What's that person going to say to me? Well, you better man up, right? Because there's nothing else you can do. You can't change it, because if you say anything, if you go out there and you start talking about this stuff, people blame you. Who hurt you? Lots of women. Who hurt you? All kinds of women. What the fuck do you think I'm talking about this stuff for? Who hurt you? Many, many women hurt me. Just like many, many women have hurt every red pill man, because that's how we got red pilled in the first place. And then the same lady who said that, the same lady who said, why don't men just call a suicide hotline? It's their own fault if they committed suicide. The same lady who said that, after I told her how horrible and disgusting and bigoted and bullying of a thing that was to say, she turns around and says, I left my baby's dad and I took my baby with me because the guy didn't make any money. Swear to God, that's what she said. She said it and tried to act like she was somehow a victim because of that. Like, I had to man up myself by taking away my child and leaving this man and moving out. I mean, what? You're the oppressed because he can't make money for you? What? Are you nuts? Are you psychotic? This is how these people think. This is how people in the world think. If you don't make money as a man, you ain't shit. You are lower than shit. You are less than shit. You are less than nothing. You are worthless in society. Now, I blame society for that. Yes. I blame society as a whole for that. Yes. But do women help out with their hypergamy? No. And what does feminism do? Feminism turns around and says, we're the oppressed gender. You guys have to work. If you don't, you're a piece of shit. You guys have to have a house. If you don't, you're a piece of shit. and we'll never marry you. We'll never get into a relationship with you if you don't have money. But women aren't to blame, right? It's society. It's all just society. I agree. Society's a fucking problem. But you're telling me that women aren't to blame? And that whole logic is wacky anyways, because women are a large part of society. They're 50% of society. And if men are the ones who are committing suicide, a large part of the society is really being oppressed. Who's the real oppressor? Who's really being oppressed in this scenario? Men. We're a pack horse. We're a workhorse for the Jezebel whore, who will be lucky if she settles with us after she's done riding the cock carousel. So I'm talking with this lady and I'm like, what's the point? What's your point? Let me ask you a question. She says, society is to blame. I said, let me ask you a question. If a man killed your baby without your consent, you had no say in this whatsoever. The state said the man has 100% right over the life of the child. He can kill the baby if he wants. Would you think that that's oppressive? Would you think that that's a part of the evil patriarchy? Of course you would. You'd go nuts. You'd say, you can't kill my baby. You horrible person. You murderer. You can't kill my baby. And what if I turned around and said, no, that baby's just a parasite. It's not even a human. It's just a fetus. What if that happened? Women would go to war. That's how bonkers this scenario is. And people just accept it. Like, it's okay. Like, yeah, it's the woman's body. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense to me. Have you ever been in a scenario where a woman was going to kill your baby? I have. I dated a girl who told me she was pregnant. She wasn't. She was lying. I didn't know that at the time. I thought I had a baby girl on the way. And you know what she said to me? She said, I think I might have an abortion. And you want to know how I felt? Powerless. You want to know how it feels to feel powerless over the life of your child? As a man? Pretty fucking shitty. Probably just as fucking shitty as a woman would feel if a man was going to kill her baby. And she'd go up in arms acting like, I'm oppressed. This is wrong. I'm a woman. You can't kill my baby. It's different because it's my baby and I'm a woman. I gave birth to it. But the state was like, nope, the guy has all the say. What would women do? That's what I said to this woman. I said, how would you feel in that scenario? And she says, here's what she says. She says, I wouldn't have sex with a man who would do that. What the fuck? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You don't know if he'd do that or not. What kind of arrogant thing is that to say? I wouldn't have sex with a man who would do that. I don't agree with abortion and wouldn't put myself in that situation. You have no fucking clue, lady. Because anybody can change their mind at any time. I thought I had a good girl a few times. I thought I had a good girl who loved me, and then all of a sudden one day, she just changed her mind. She just totally changed up on me. All of a sudden, she didn't love me anymore. All of a sudden, she wasn't contacting me anymore. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck's going on? Where are you at? How come I can't get a hold of you? She was seeing some other guy. How many times has that happened to me? More than a few. People change. Oh, you wouldn't have sex with the guy? Okay. So I said, men don't have any choice over the life of their children. How do you think we feel about that? How do you think we feel when women call us all kinds of names for having a sex drive? How do you think we feel when women say that we're rapists by our nature and we foster rape culture? How do you think we feel when women divorce us and take half of our money that we've worked our whole life for? How do you think we feel when women abuse laws and legislation to get back at us and use our children as weapons to hurt us? Do you think men are committing suicide for just any old reason? It's society's fault. Really, lady? Really? So women have nothing to blame. It's not women as a whole. It's society, and feminism is bad to you, because there's always that little faker, that little phony woman who's like, I don't agree with feminism. I think society's the problem. It's not women. It's just feminism and it's society. Bullshit. You are diverting blame and you're acting like you're on my side when you're not. You're really defending women. That's what you're doing. And men aren't stupid. We aren't stupid. That's why we don't trust you nawalts. You wolves in sheep's clothing. You infiltrate into red pill communities and act like I'm not like those other women, but yet you defend women as a whole for their bad behavior. You hypocrites, you liars. It's fucking crazy. And she says, and so she starts to blame me. And this is what these women do. They try to browbeat you with psychology. It's your fault. You need to choose better women. It's your fault. You're choosing the wrong kind of women. You're choosing toxic women. Really? Really? They kill 500 women as a whole, kill 500,000 of our babies a year. And are they all toxic? Well, I think, yeah. But how do we know that they're toxic? We don't know. We don't fucking know. You know? And she says, I'm anti-feminist. You're preaching to the converted now, but I don't blame women. I blame society as a whole. See? There you go. There you go, right there. So she says, I'm anti-feminist, but I don't blame women. So there you go. I mean, that's a wolf in sheep's clothing right there. How many times you hear a woman say, I hear it all the time. I'm not against women. I'm just against feminism. I'm against feminism. And are you sure you're just not seeing the right girls? Where the fuck are the right girls? They're nowhere to be found. Where are they? I'll be lucky if I meet 2 out of 100 decent girls. I mean, it's just hypocrisy. It's just absolute. I mean, how would you feel? That's what I said. I said, how would you feel? How would you feel if we could just kill your babies? And you want to blame feminism? No, that's all women. All women have that right. Are you going to defend? Are you going to help us? Are you going to help us change those legislations? Or are you just going to blame us? You need to choose better women. Okay, lady. Oh, okay, you nitpicker. It's our fault. And that's why men commit suicide. That's why. Because we're blamed for everything. We're even blamed for our own suicides. It's his fault he committed suicide. He should have chose better women. It's his fault that his, used to be sweet wife changed up because she started watching feminism crap. She started watching these girl empowerment crap, changed up, and she got brainwashed by whoever, Oprah or Wendy Williams or whoever the fuck these satanic witches are who brainwash these housewives into divorcing their husbands. Oh, girl, you can get $1 million. You can get half his shit, girl. He better treat you like a princess, kiss your feet, put rose petals everywhere you walk, or else he ain't no good. Oh, girl, you can take half his shit. You see? But it's our fault. It's our fault we commit suicide after our loving wives divorce us and leave us high and dry, take half our shit. Yeah? Okay. And that's why we walk away from you. That's why we don't want to have anything to do with you. That's why we don't want to marry you no more. Then it's a problem, right? It's not a problem when we're committing suicide. It's our fault. But when we walk away, then you're scared. Then men aren't marrying. No man's going to marry me anymore. Yeah, why should we? Why should we? We got nothing to win. There's nothing to gain from that. What are we going to gain from marrying you? Lose half our shit? Take our kids away from us? Use our kids as a tool to hurt us? Brainwash our sons into being little beta white knights? Turn our daughters into whores? That's what you think? No, we don't want any part of any of it. We're walking away. You don't respect us. You just want to use us for our money. You just want to walk all over us. You want your cake and you want to eat it too. You don't know how to love us. You hypocrites. You sicko toxic witches. I mean, men are waking up. How would you feel if we killed your kid? You go bonkers. You go crazy. That's why we're walking away. That's why we're done. Don't be surprised. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. Coming out of the woodwork to defend sick behavior. To defend all this satanic murder, abortion, sick child sacrifices is what it is. It's what it really is. The major reason why women have abortion is because they're quote unquote not ready to have a child. Well, if you're not ready to have a child, maybe use protection. Or maybe, I don't know, stop sleeping around so much, unprotected. How about that? Instead of just killing your kid. Because you're not only just killing the kid, which is disgusting, reprehensible in and of itself. You're killing a man's kid. He might want that baby. Well, you think we're all just emotionless sex hounds? This is what these women think. It's your fault. You choose a better woman. We don't fucking know. 9 times out of 10, we got to take what we can get. Whereas all you got to do is walk outside. Okay, you think it's equal. I fight for equality. No, you don't. No, you don't. You fight for it so women can be empowered over men. That's what women's empowerment really is. It's not women's empowerment so that women can be equal to men. It's women's empowerment so that women can have more power than men. So that women can have the special privileges, have their cake and eat it too. Cannot have any accountability for their actions. That's what women's empowerment really means. You sickos. This world is sick, man. This world is sick, I'm telling you. And it's hitting us at home. It's hitting us in our pocketbook. It's hitting us right in the place where we, it's hitting us in the love department. We want love, but we're getting hit. How could we have love? How could we if she's a Jezebel slut, unloyal, hypergamous gold digger, used goods, How could we? How could we have love? How could we? And it's not even that we just don't have love. We're committing suicide. We're killing ourselves in large numbers. 3/4 of the majority of men are committing suicide, killing themselves. And it's probably our fault, right? If you ask a woman, it's our fault. Just an insane scenario. That's all I gotta say, guys. Peace.